Hey everyone, Sam here at Model Chili Scale Models, back for one final build for 2020, and this time it's going to be Bandai's teeny tiny Imperial Star Destroyer kit. However, I'm going to be painting this one up to look like the Errant Venture from the Star Wars Legends universe. So it'll be various shades of red, I think. Maybe some bits of grey, because some sources say that the Errant Venture wasn't completely covered in red. Yeah, I'll see how it goes. So I'll just pull all of these out of the bag, put them all together, and then I'll be back for the painting. Alright, so there it is all put together, and as you saw me doing before, I'm just securing some of these parts up with just a little bit of glue, because although this is a push together kit, there are some bits that feel a bit not so secure. So especially these deflector shield domes and some of these other parts they could just get fixed into place. There. Alright, so now it's ready for painting. And the first step is to prime it with Tamiya's Fine Surface Primer from a spray can. Alright, so that's all of the primer down, and I'm not exactly 100% sure what I want to do with this yet. It's just going to be one of those builds that I think I'm just going to make it up as I go along, and just depending on how it turns out and what I feel like doing at the time. So what I'm going to do first is just do a base coat of Vallejo Model Air Fire Red, which is a nice real deep red. 71084 is the number. So I'm just going to go ahead and give that a base coat of that colour, and then see what happens next. Now the good thing about this fire red is that the more layers you put on, the sort of darker it gets. So you can see I've tried to do a little bit of shading here, just in various patches, just to make it a little bit more ragtag than a complete military operation. So what I'm going to do next to add even more variation is I've just added a spot of black to the fire red, and then I'm just going to do some other shaded parts. Alright, so that's the main coat gone down, so there's the top and bottom. Got some nice patches of shading there. So what I'm going to do now, before I start doing any detail painting or highlighting, is just to give it a coat of Tamiya's clear TS13, just to protect this base coat of red. Right, with the gloss coat down, I'm sort of warming to this overall red look. I don't think I'll do any grey panels around the ship. I really like how this looks as it is, but there are some areas that I think would be logically not painted. So for instance, the inside of the hangar bay there and the engine cones would probably not be painted. And I thought about just doing Star Destroyer grey, like a nice light ghost grey, but I thought that might stick out a little bit too much and look a bit whitish. So I'm just going to go in with a bit of a darker grey, so Vallejo Model Air, just grey, 71047, and I'm going to start with the hangar bay, the engines, and see how that looks from there. So that's all of the grey applied, and as you can see I've done all of the laser turrets along the top there, the deflector shield domes, the hangar bays, and the engine cones. So what I'm going to do next is I'm just going to detail up the laser turrets just with a little bit of lighter grey over the central parts of those, and then I think I'll be done with detail painting. And the next step is to apply a pen wash, and I'm using Vallejo Model Wash Dark Grey for this one. And so I'm just going to apply it to all of the detailed, recessed and raised areas, just to bring out some of the detail. Now that the wash is set, what I'm going to do is wipe away a lot of the excess wash that I don't want, just with a cotton bud and a bit of acrylic thinner. So this will wipe away all of the acrylic-based wash, but it won't affect the base coat because that's been coated with the Tamiya clear coat, which is not acrylic based, so it kind of protects the paint underneath from this process. So just starting to clean that up. And what I might do is just keep rubbing until some of the paint on some of the raised surfaces starts to rub off, exposing the primed layer underneath, and that will just add a bit of wear and tear and a bit of sort of raggedness to the overall look. Make some sections look a little bit underpainted or weathered, because I'm guessing this ship wouldn't be quite as maintained as some of the Imperial starships, so I can probably get away with just a little bit more weathering than usual. I'll probably go through a few of these cotton buds before I'm finished. There's quite a lot of hard edges on this thing. So here you can see some of the paint starting to rub off. And now, using the dark ghost grey, I'm just going to do a little bit of dry brushing in certain areas. So inside the hangar bay here. And I'm also going to lightly brush it across some of the raised areas around the surface, just to blend in the red and the grey just a touch more. And by dry brushing in one way and then dry brushing at a 90-degree angle, I can sort of give the hint of panel lines as well, with these very faint strokes. It just helps to have a nice straight flat brush to get the lines kind of parallel. Now I'm just going to add a few specks of white for some windows. Now I'm going to finish it all off with a coat of Tamiya Flat Clear TS80. Alright, so with the flat coat down, I'm happy to call this one done. And yeah, it was another fun little Bandai kit to throw together and paint up with some custom colours. I wanted to do something a little bit different than the standard Star Destroyer, which I did already back last year when I did the big Bandai 1:5000 scale one. So I thought I would think outside the box a little bit here and do one of the rare and unique Star Destroyers within the Star Wars universe. I'm not sure how many of my viewers will actually know of the Errant Venture. It's a ship that I've known about for quite a few years. But yeah, there doesn't seem to be really one definitive source as to what it actually looked like. If you do a Google search, you'll see all sorts of different configurations and colour schemes, and ones with all sorts of greebles attached to it. So yeah, I thought I'd keep this one fairly stock as far as construction goes, and then just take a few liberties with the actual paint scheme. Overall it's red, and it looks kind of distressed and maybe not completely painted red. And of course the some of the parts you wouldn't want to paint up, so the deflector shields and the lasers and the back of the engines there. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it's come out. There's something you could probably spend a lot more time on and detail up really nicely, but I just wanted to get something out before the end of the year. Just another kit from the shelf that's complete. And now I can move on to the next one. So just a closer look at the bottom side. So there's parts inside here that I might paint more of, but keep scraping off, of course, when the plug goes in. But it kind of stands out when it's not on the stand. But yeah, so here's the underside of the hangar bay. Yeah, so as you saw, just a quick dry brush and a bit of a wash, and you can really bring some of this detail out that might have otherwise disappeared in the sort of uniform colour scheme. And in the trench along the sides, I did a bit of a wash, a bit of a dry brush, and some spots for some lights. And having a look at the bridge. There, a few more lights, a bit more dry brushing. And I really like how the dry brushed streaks going in alternate directions kind of looks like a bit of panelling. So that's another sort of quick and easy way you can achieve that sort of effect. And so here's how my Bandai miniature fleet is looking so far. It's becoming quite a nice little collection, and believe it or not, there's even more to come, so make sure to subscribe to keep an eye out for those if you've enjoyed this video. And as always, please leave a comment, questions, or any feedback below, and I try to reply to as many comments as I can. And yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed watching, and until next time, I don't actually have a quote for this one.